Imagine walking into your favorite store, only to find shelves emptied of everyday essentials. From pantry staples to surprising items you never expected, these 10 grocery products are vanishing, and they could be gone before March 2025. Are you ready to discover what's at risk? Stay tuned until the end to prepare for the unexpected. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay ahead of these startling changes. Let's jump right into it. 1. Vanilla extract. Say goodbye to the affordable vanilla extract you once knew. The global vanilla market is in absolute chaos, and it's not getting better anytime soon. Vanilla extract is now so expensive that it costs more gram for gram than silver. That's right, your baking ingredient is now practically a luxury item. Why? Madagascar, which holds a staggering 80% of the world's vanilla supply, got hit by 2 cyclones that wiped out 40% of the crop. Add climate change to the mix, which makes farming conditions even worse, and you've got a recipe for disaster. To make things worse, labor costs are on the rise for the intense hand-pollinating process of growing vanilla. If you thought the madness ended there, think again. A warehouse fire in New Jersey destroyed 20% of America's backup supply. The result? Major brands like McCormick and Nielsen Massey are waving red flags, warning of mounting shortages. Some stores are already enforcing purchase limits, reducing customers to just 1 bottle at a time. Pathetic, right? The real kicker here is that vanilla extract, as you know it, might basically vanish off grocery store shelves completely. The production just isn't keeping up with demand, and prices are becoming outrageous for both consumers and companies. We're already seeing manufacturers shrink bottle sizes while keeping prices sky high. A sneaky tactic known as shrinkflation. Don't be surprised if that 4-ounce bottle is suddenly down to 3 ounces the next time you shop, and it still costs you an arm and a leg. What can you do? First, if you find a bottle of pure vanilla extract anywhere, grab it like it's gold, because it basically is at this point. Stock up on vanilla bean paste. It's potent, lasts longer, and you can use it sparingly without losing flavor. Otherwise, start improvising. A mix of maple syrup and bourbon might save your recipes when you're desperate. And no, it's not the same, but beggars can't be choosers. The bad news doesn't end there. This vanilla shortage is only part of a bigger picture of food supply disruptions. At this rate, common grocery staples are turning into rare delicacies. Courtesy, if you're a baker, prepare for a world without accessible vanilla extract. And if you're not, better enjoy the vanilla while you still can, because by March 2025, it might be a thing of the past. 2. Coffee shortages. Coffee lovers, brace yourselves. The days of indulging in your favorite morning brew might be numbered. Brazil, the top producer of coffee globally, is in crisis mode thanks to the worst drought it's faced in half a century. Arabica beans, the backbone of premium coffee, have taken a massive hit, with production down by a staggering 35%. If you think this sounds bad, it gets worse. The global supply chain is a mess. A container shortage has millions of pounds of coffee stranded at ports, while shipping costs have skyrocketed by an unbelievable 280%. And here's where things start hitting home. Major coffee brands, the ones you rely on for your daily pick-me-up like Lavazza, Peet's Coffee, and Starbucks Reserve, are being forced to scale back their production. Supply is drying up so fast that some of these brands are even rationing sales. Yup, limiting customers to just 2 bags of coffee per store visit. If you thought your favorite premium roasts were safe, think again. The ripple effects of this shortage aren't limited to just what's on store shelves. Higher demand meets dwindling supply, which means coffee prices are already climbing. Your daily brew is going to cost you more, if you can even find the beans you want. And don't expect this to fix itself anytime soon. Drought conditions don't resolve overnight, shipping bottlenecks won't clear up instantly, and coffee crops take seasons to recover. Until then, you're stuck dealing with limited availability and increased prices. If you're not ready to give up your caffeine fix, you need a plan. First, shop smart. Always check roast dates on coffee bags. Fresh beans matter. Quality tanks quickly after 30 days post-roasting. And how you store your coffee? That's critical now more than ever. Keep your beans in airtight containers, away from heat and direct sunlight, but don't make the rookie mistake of freezing them. Freeze your beans, and you sacrifice flavor. The take-home here? Coffee isn't the unshakable staple it once was. Whether it's your high-end blends or your budget brands, shortages are looming, and they're going to hit fast. Stock up, but don't hoard mindlessly. The caffeine-fueled mornings you take for granted now might soon be a luxury you can't afford. 3. Organic egg shortages. Organic eggs are becoming a rare commodity, and you can blame a perfect storm of bad weather and rising costs. Organic egg deliveries have plummeted, largely due to extreme cold that's wreaking havoc on sensitive organic hens. These birds aren't exactly hardy. They've seen their production drop by a shocking 32%. If that wasn't enough, organic feed prices have shot up by an eye-watering 45%, making it nearly impossible for farmers to keep up production without passing the added costs on to the consumer. What does this mean for you? Expect to see organic egg prices climb to outrageous levels. Some forecasts suggest as high as $8.99 per dozen or more. And if you think you can just buy as many as you want, think again. Some grocery stores are already rationing sales, limiting customers to just 2 cartons per visit. Forget stocking up. Organic eggs are officially turning into a luxury item, not a staple. And before you think you can wait this one out, here's the real kicker. There's no clear end in sight. With longer landing issues like extreme weather patterns and inflation hammering the organic farming industry, shortages are expected to linger well beyond March 2025. If you're committed to organic eggs, your wallet is going to feel the pain in both the short and long term. If you need alternatives, you'll want to pivot quickly. Free-range eggs are cheaper and still pack a nutritional punch nearly on par with organic varieties. Those looking to make their culinary life easier should consider freezing eggs. Beat them lightly, pour them into an ice cube tray, and freeze. This trick can save you trips to the store while making use of whatever eggs you can stockpile now. The bottom line? Organic eggs won't vanish completely, but they're going to feel unreachable for most people. Between the reduced supply and exorbitant price tags, they're becoming a symbol of how unpredictable our food systems have become. For those unwilling or unable to adjust to alternatives, this shortage spells trouble. Better start planning around it now. 4. Hot sauce crisis. If you're the type of person who douses everything in hot sauce, brace yourself. Your favorite fiery condiments might soon become as rare as gold. Thanks to extreme heat waves slamming major chili pepper producing regions like Mexico and California, harvests are down a staggering 34%. Unfortunately, that crucial ingredient shortage is wreaking havoc across the supply chain. Add a global shortage of glass bottles into the mix and you've got a recipe for disaster for staples like Tabasco, Frank's Red Hot, and the cult favorite Sriracha. What does this mean for you? Shelves are already looking emptier, and if you haven't noticed it yet, just wait, it's coming. Brands are cutting production left and right, and prices could very well spike for the bottles that do manage to make it to stores. Sriracha in particular has been hit the hardest, with some fans already noticing their go-to sauce disappearing from restaurants and grocery stores alike. Here's the blunt truth. If hot sauce is an essential part of your kitchen, you need to act now. That doesn't mean panic buying and hoarding like it's the apocalypse. That behavior only fuels the problem. Instead, consider these strategies to ride out the shortfall. Smaller grocery stores or specialty local markets may still carry certain brands that larger chains won't bother restocking, so check those first. And if you're lucky enough to stumble upon your favorite hot sauce, grab an extra bottle or two. Not a case. Just enough to last you a few months. Production is expected to bounce back in 3 to 4 months once harvests improve and supply chains stabilize, so this isn't forever. That said, it's also a good time to experiment. Consider trying alternative brands or even make your own hot sauce at home if you're feeling ambitious. Plenty of recipes exist online, and with a few fresh ingredients, you might even find a new favorite. But one thing's for sure, if you wait too long, you might be stuck eating bland food until the shelves are stocked again. This isn't just an inconvenience for heat lovers. It's another reminder of how climate change and supply chain disruptions are forcing us to confront some harsh realities. The foods and products we take for granted might not always be there when we want them. Hot sauce isn't disappearing forever, but this is your wake-up call to adapt, adjust, and maybe spare a thought the next time you see an untouched bottle of chili sauce on a store shelf. 5. Frozen vegetable shortages. If frozen vegetables are a staple in your kitchen, get ready for a big disappointment. Severe weather has wreaked havoc on crop yields, wiping out 40% of broccoli and cauliflower in the Midwest, and an even worse 60% of green bean fields in California. These losses directly translate to a significant reduction in supply, meaning your grocery freezer section is about to look a lot emptier. Making matters worse, processing facilities that handle frozen vegetables are behind schedule. Equipment upgrades and delays in production have thrown a wrench into the ability to meet demand. Even if some vegetables were spared by the weather, getting them processed and packed for sale has turned into another bottleneck. This combination of disastrous farming conditions and industrial slowdowns means fewer bags of frozen broccoli or mixed greens on the shelves. What does this mean for you? It's simple. you're going to need to change your strategy. The convenience of picking up frozen prepackaged vegetables could be gone in a matter of weeks. Start preparing now. Buying fresh vegetables and freezing them yourself isn't exactly rocket science, and it can save you both money and a lot of future frustration. If you come across frozen vegetables now, grab them while you can. But don't hoard. Hoarding won't help anyone, and stores are monitoring unusual bulk purchases. The reality is harsh. This isn't just about one storm or a minor hiccup in production. The frozen vegetable industry is facing a multifaceted crisis, making it unlikely to recover anytime soon. If you rely on frozen vegetables for meal prep, versatility, or just sheer convenience, you need to adapt and fast. Fresh alternatives might not seem as easy, but it's a step you'll have to take, sooner rather than later. Expect competition in the freezer aisle to get fierce as shortages become more noticeable. That bag of veggie medley you used to pass over might become a rare find. Prices are likely to climb as stocks dwindle, so staying ahead of the curve is your best bet. Stock up smartly, prep at home, and adjust your habits now before everyone else catches on too late. 6. Baby formula concerns. Baby formula is becoming yet another victim of supply chain disruptions and regulatory red tape. Abbott Nutrition, one of the largest manufacturers of baby formula in the U.S., has temporarily shut down its primary production facility for upgrades. While this may sound positive in the long term, it's causing big problems for parents right now, especially for those relying on specialty formulas like Similac Alimentum and Enfamil Gentilis. These aren't optional products. They're critical for babies with dietary needs or allergies. Now, parents are scrambling to find alternatives as shelves go bare. Adding fuel to the fire, the FDA's stricter regulations on imported formulas like Candamil and Bubs have cut off yet another avenue for relief. While these international brands served as a useful alternative during previous shortages, the new policies have severely restricted access, leaving parents with fewer options than ever. Sure, these regulations may aim to ensure safety and quality, but they're also creating unnecessary hurdles in an already tight market. The reality is simple. There isn't enough product to meet demand, and the situation is only getting worse. For parents feeling the squeeze, it's time to get proactive. Independent pharmacies often have formula in stock because they're frequently overlooked by the masses. It might take some legwork, but these smaller players could be hidden lifesavers. Another avenue is connecting with your pediatrician. Many pediatricians receive free samples directly from manufacturers, and they may be able to help you get on a priority list for high-need cases. The bottom line? Baby formula is already on the chopping block, and it's going to become even scarcer as March 2025 approaches. If you're a parent depending on these products, the time to act is now. Plan ahead, stock up, and don't hesitate to explore every available resource. Because once it's gone, there's no telling how long it'll take for the shelves to be restocked. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a crisis in the making, and it's flying under the radar for most people. 7. Premium chocolate shortages. If you're a fan of premium chocolate, brace yourself because it's about to get ugly. Cocoa bean production is facing its worst crisis in decades. Try 40 years. West Africa, the region responsible for around 70% of the world's cocoa, is dealing with a perfect storm of worker shortages and agricultural struggles. The result? A 137% price spike that's not slowing down anytime soon. That smooth, indulgent bar of 70% dark chocolate sitting in your pantry is about to become a rarity, and possibly a luxury you can't afford. And it's not just the pure chocolate bars that are impacted. Major players like Hershey's and Mars are already shifting gears. Faced with skyrocketing cocoa prices, they're reformulating recipes to cut down on cocoa content. Translation, that premium chocolate you thought you were buying is quietly being downgraded, and you're paying top dollar for less of the real deal. If you think white chocolate is a safe alternative, think again. It's facing its own distinct supply chain headaches. Your options are already narrowing, and it's going to get worse. Purchase limits could be the next thing on the horizon, especially for high cocoa compote bars. Stock up now while you still can. Aim for bars that are 60% cocoa or higher. Anything less will likely taste like a cheap imitation of what it's supposed to be. And don't even get us started on white chocolate. Don't waste your money there unless you enjoy disappointment. If you've been procrastinating on your chocolate stockpile, you might regret it come early 2025. Premium chocolate aisles are going to look shockingly bare. This is your warning. It's a chocolate apocalypse, and the countdown has already started. 8. Greek yogurt supply issues. The beloved staple of health enthusiasts and protein-packed snack lovers, Greek yogurt, is quickly becoming a casualty of the latest supply chain nightmares. If Greek yogurt is part of your daily routine, brace yourself for some major disappointments. Rising feed costs for dairy cows and widespread shortages of food-grade plastics are kneecapping production by industry leaders like Chobani and Phage. These aren't just random hiccups in manufacturing, this is a full-blown tidal wave that's leaving store shelves emptier by the day. The first sign of trouble? Larger 32-ounce containers of Greek yogurt are vanishing at an alarming rate. If you're partial to buying in bulk, you've likely already noticed that these family-sized tubs, which used to be everywhere, are becoming increasingly elusive. Why? Because companies are prioritizing the production of smaller sizes to extend what little supply they have left. It's not ideal for consumers looking to stretch their dollar, and it's definitely a bad sign for what's to come. But it doesn't stop there. Even the smaller single-serving containers are starting to dwindle, and before long they may be just as hard to find. These yogurt powerhouses simply can't keep up with the 1-2 punch of skyrocketing production costs and strained supply chains. And no, this isn't something that's going to magically resolve itself anytime soon. With the global feed cost crisis still raging and the demand for food-grade plastic outpacing supply, expect the Greek yogurt shortage to worsen fast. If you think this issue doesn't directly affect you, think again. Greek yogurt has become a kitchen essential for people who swear by its versatility. Whether it's the key ingredient in your morning smoothie, your post-gym protein hit, or the base for your creamy pasta sauces, losing access to this high-protein gem is going to sting. For many, it's not as simple as swapping it for a pack of regular yogurt, either. Greek yogurt's rich texture and nutritional profile, higher protein and lower sugar content, are hard to replicate. So, what can you do? Prepare now. When you see Greek yogurt in stock, don't hesitate. Buy it. Stock up while you can because the clock is ticking. Sealed Greek yogurt has an impressive shelf life when refrigerated properly, lasting weeks before even nearing expiration. If your fridge can't handle the hoard, consider switching gears to alternatives like Icelandic skyr, which has a similarly high protein content and is made using a different process. Or, if you're feeling a bit more DIY, make your own Greek-style yogurt at home using regular yogurt and a simple straining method. Another option? Boost the protein content of regular yogurt by stirring in unflavored protein powder. It's not quite the same, but desperate times call for creative solutions. Just don't wait too long to figure out your game plan. This shortage isn't going to wait around for you to adjust. 9. Breakfast cereal shortages. Brace yourself for a grim reality at breakfast time. Your beloved cereals are vanishing faster than you'd expect, and the situation isn't bouncing back anytime soon. Thanks to a disastrous cocktail of declining wheat production and struggling corn and rice crops, breakfast cereal shelves are already looking sparse. Wheat output has nosedived by a shocking 34%, a low we haven't seen since 2002. Combine that with poor yields for corn and rice, and it's a recipe for trouble. If your mornings depend on a trusty bowl of cereal, it's time to start thinking ahead because the brands you know and love are scaling back production. General Mills and Kellogg's, the biggest players in the game, are already tightening their belts. The first to disappear? Family-sized boxes of favorites like Frosted Flakes and Honey Bunches of Oats. What's worse, this isn't just limited to the fancy cereals. Thinking you'll just grab the store brand knockoffs instead? Think again. Store brands rely on the same strained supply chain as the major companies, so don't expect to find a secret loophole to keep your pantry stocked. The cheap generic options are just as doomed as the brand name favorites. Once these shortages hit full stride, and they will, it's going to be slim pickings for everyone. And don't assume this crisis will bypass your breakfast just because cereal's long shelf life might slow the impact. Here's the cold hard truth. Cereal is one of the easiest pantry staples to stockpile now, but too many people are already catching on. If you don't start buying your favorite cereals in bulk, you'll be left staring at empty shelves in the not-so-distant future. The good news, if you can call it that, is that cereals stay good for 6 months if stored properly. Take advantage of that now because by March 2025, it might be too late. You might think, breakfast isn't that big of a deal, I'll just switch to something else. Sure, until you realize that eggs, milk, and even oat-based products are dealing with their own supply issues. Your breakfast options are dwindling across the board. Without cereal as a flexible go-to, you're going to notice how much harder it is to maintain your usual routines. It might seem trivial today, but when morning chaos sets in, and there's no easy option like pouring frosted mini-wheats into a bowl, you'll miss cereal more than you'd expect. The message here is blunt and simple. Don't wait to act. Stock up on cereals now, whether it's the family-sized boxes or the smaller ones. Don't think you're too smart to fall victim to this shortage. Everyone needs to eat, and everyone needs quick meals, which means the demand for cereals could outstrip what's currently on shelves faster than you imagine. Look at what's happening with other convenience foods. Cereal is no exception. 10. Fresh berry crisis. If you're a fan of fresh berries, brace yourself for disappointment. The dependable supply of strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries that you rely on during the winter months is falling apart. Fast. California and Florida, which together produce 99% of America's winter berries, are being hit hard by Mother Nature's wrath. Devastating frost damage and significant bloom losses have slashed berry output by an alarming 40 to 60%. This drop is not just a small hiccup, it's a full-blown crisis. Think the weather is the only culprit? Think again. Rising shipping costs and stricter emission regulations are adding insult to injury. The cost of transporting the dwindling supply of berries is skyrocketing, and new green policies are making trucking and logistics even more expensive. This means prices at the grocery store aren't just climbing, they're soaring. What was once considered a healthy, everyday snack is quickly becoming a luxury item. What's worse, it's not just about the cost. Supply chain disruptions are making fresh berries harder to find altogether. You might walk into your store next winter only to find empty shelves where your favorite berries used to be. And even if they are available, the quality is bound to be inconsistent, with many berries likely underripe or damaged, thanks to rushed and overstrained production efforts. The once abundant fruit aisle might start looking grim. But don't panic, yet. You have a few stopgap options to get your berry fix without completely blowing your budget or dealing with the fresh berry roulette. First, consider frozen berries. Often overlooked, they're actually more nutritious than fresh ones in many cases. Why? Because they're frozen shortly after being harvested, locking in their vitamins and minerals. Not to mention, they're far cheaper than their fresh counterparts and can be stored for months. Smoothie lovers, this is your time to shine. Another solid move is to start scouting for Chilean blueberries or early Mexican berry imports. These countries should have some supply during the winter months. But here's the catch. It's still imported, which means prices will reflect shipping and tariffs. It's a better alternative than nothing, but don't expect a bargain bin situation. Be prepared to pay a premium for these options. If you're feeling proactive, another solution is to plan ahead. Stock up on frozen berries now while prices remain manageable, and adjust your recipes to compromise. Craving a fruit tart? Use a frozen berry compote instead. Need fresh berries for a salad? Try incorporating less perishable substitutes, like pomegranate seeds or dried cranberries.